Cybertruck news. What's happening with the Cybertruck? Well, first of all, guys, very interesting. You know the extra battery you can buy to put in the bed, which will give you a lot of extra range, but it does cost 16,000 US dollars. Well, I was thinking to myself, how many people will actually buy that extra battery pack? Will people do it? It turns out they are. In fact, we know the approximate percentage of those who order a Cybertruck, of how many of them actually going through and buying that battery. But we also know who is buying the tri-motor Cybertruck, who's buying the dual motor. We also know some other interesting information about the Cybertruck. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. The Cybertruck sales are now fully kicking in. And yes, Tesla's obviously struggling with building 4680 cells, but I'm sure they'll ramp those up over the next few months. It's inevitable. It can't be that hard, right? Well, I don't know actually, but anyway. Cybertruck. Okay, how many people are buying the range extender battery pack? Apparently, from 430 Cybertruck Foundation Series buyers so far that we have this exact data from, 1 in 4, so 25%, are buying the range extender. 16,000 US dollars. And in terms of models, all-wheel drive model, 65%. The tri-motor Cyber Beast, 35%. That's quite interesting. I mean, 1 in 3 is getting the tri-motor, and 2 in every 3 are buying the all-wheel drive version. Personally, I'd probably go all-wheel drive, not the Cyber Beast, but that's just my preference because the all-wheel drive model has more range, and I'd prefer the extra range. I don't think I would go and buy the extra battery pack though, but it's very interesting to see that 1 in 4 people are actually buying it. In an interview with Sandy Munro, Tesla executives explained some features of the Cybertruck's design. On the range extender, this is what they said. We want to make cars, not more batteries. For most people, 340 miles, that's totally fine. And I've got to agree, 340 miles is quite a lot of range. Lars Moravi went on to say that in response to a question about range, we want to make sure more electric vehicles, not more battery cells, that no one will ever use. That's why I decided to make the range extender an optional add-on. Moravi was speaking about a trend in the EV industry where smaller battery capacities can make more sense because people don't drive more than 50 or 40 miles per day. And they rarely use that extra battery capacity. Not to say you want an EV with 40 or 50 miles of range, but the point is, do you really need 500 miles of range? The range extender unit boosts range to over 460 miles, he said. It looks like a toolbox in the bed. Long-term target is 500 miles, said Drew Baglino, head of powertrain, battery and motors. So the point is they're hoping to improve energy density, so the range extender will have a higher energy density battery and get you that additional 40 miles of range versus what it's getting today. They're saying over 460 miles of range with the range extender. So is it worth paying an extra $16,000 to get essentially what are you getting, about 140 miles of range? I don't know. It's a good question. So what about towing and range with the range extender? Well, that depends on the aero efficiency, they said, of what you're dragging around. If you pull a horse trailer, aero efficiency is pretty bad. It may take away 50% of your range. But if you pull a skidoo or something a little more aerodynamic, it may be 20 or 30%. Now, obviously, range loss is the same. Internal combustion car, in a gasoline or diesel car, you'll get much worse mileage. It affects internal combustion vehicles the same way that it affects EVs. And I think people need to consider that as well when they talk about how EV range is affected by towing. If you're somebody that tows a lot, said Tesla, from San Francisco to Tahoe, the range extender might make sense. Now, I reported yesterday, guys, on the fact that Tesla is now receiving more than 10,000 Cybertruck orders per day since the Cybertruck was revealed. Now, a lot of the media said the Cybertruck reveal was terrible. It was a disaster. It was a complete disaster. But clearly, customers are not seeing it that way. Tesla now has more than 2.3 million pre-orders. That is insane. More than 2.3 million. If Tesla were able to build, say, 250,000 Cybertrucks per year, which they're not currently capable of, but they hopefully will be by, say, 2025, that would mean Tesla has more than 9 years of orders. Now, of course, some of those will cancel, but I'm sure other people will order in their place. So Tesla has at least even if there was a whole lot of cancellations, at least 5 years of pre-orders currently. That is insane. Now, interestingly, that Cybertruck is already being used to charge other vehicles. That's one of the cool features of it. You can obviously use the Cybertruck to power your home. It has really, really good ability to send a lot of power to your home. Unlike other vehicles where you need to pay for, like with the Ford F-150 Lightning, you got to pay for a Pro Pack. You pay a few thousand, I think it's about $3,000 more, and then you can send extra power to your home. But as standard, you can't. As standard, the Cybertruck sends a lot of power to your home. I believe it's actually 11 kilowatt. A lot has been written about how the competition is overtaking Tesla. However, a recent thing that was quite interesting, mentioned by Talk News as well, was including a Rivian R1S and a Tesla Cybertruck. And the Cybertruck actually was used by the Rivian owner to send power to the Rivian vehicle. Now, I'm not exactly sure what happened here, guys, but what we do know is that a Rivian R1S owner was on a road trip with his family, and according to a LinkedIn post by Kitty Adams Hoxbergen, the Rivian R1S owner received an emergency charge from a Tesla Cybertruck using the Cybertruck's onboard 240 volt outlet. This situation was kind of interesting. The picture shows the Cybertruck charging the Rivian while both vehicles are parked next to a supercharger. The Tesla had access to the supercharger network. As of yet, Rivian didn't, or at least this Rivian vehicle doesn't. So basically, Rivian vehicles have to rely on third-party superchargers, which can be unreliable, can be slow, can be broken quite often. I think this incident here really shows us the Tesla supercharger network is a huge asset to have. Soon, Rivian will have access to that network. They will have NACS chargers on their vehicles. They will have access to that, I believe, within the next probably 4 to 5 months as well, using adapters. So that'll be good for Rivian owners. Now, one extra thing that I reported on as well was the fact that the designer who won Designer of the Century, there's an award, Designer of the Century, it was won by an Italian car designer. He hasn't just designed cars, by the way. He has designed numerous things. Anyway, he's one of the most awarded designers in history. And he believes the Cybertruck is the Picasso of cars. He says it's engineering genius, it's design genius, and it makes sense. Now, I know a lot of people have mocked the Cybertruck. In fact, it's the most mocked car probably in the history of mankind. But remember the DeLorean? Remember when people mocked that? Well, you know how that turned out? It turned out to be a bit of a classic. People think of it now so fondly. People love that vehicle. Maybe the Cybertruck could be the same. Either way, Giorgetto Giugiaro, and that he was actually the designer of the original DeLorean, has said that the Cybertruck is unquestionably going to be hugely successful because people want to stand out. It's different, it's iconic, and it's a tour de force when it comes to its engineering and its technology. I think we're seeing that so far. But guys, like I was saying before in the start of this story, I'm really intrigued by how many people will end up following through and buying this big battery pack that sits in the tray of your vehicle. It does take up space in there, of course, but 1 in 4, that's more than I expected. 25%. Would you buy the range extender battery pack? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.